This is Hulk Annual 6, which is as much as a Defender story. Hulk and Doctor Strange together again. Since this is also by the same writer, it feels the proper time to announce what you may have already suspected. The Defender story that I was covering with the superpowered Russians, that is on hold until Russia, I don't know, give up. There is not really a happy ending to current world events, is there? It just doesn't feel right to review something correlating to something happening in the real world where real people are dying. So here is another Defender story by Anthony Davis, which is half a remake of a story by Stanley Lee and Jack Quimby, but with different characters involved. Before we get into the plot, look, it is one of my favourite things. What we thought robots would see like in the past. Doctor Strange, he has been summoned to the secret science lab that created Adam Watson in the 60s. And he willingly goes because he wants to investigate what group could possibly have built a robot this advanced. He leaves Hulk behind, and even Hulk suspects that it is a trap, but he doesn't care because he is Hulk. And what follows is a totally needless sequence, just establishing that Hulk is a grumpy monster who goes on rampages and gets into fights with an old submarine. So over at the Super Science Lab, we learn that the eggheads involved with creating Adam Watson, they are wanting to recreate their previous success and give birth to another evolved life form. They need Doctor Strange for his previous surgical experience because they realised that last time shit hit the fan. And we have this page recapping the Adam Watson story. And as the editor's note points out, the scientists are offering a very warped version of the events from Fantastic Four 66 and 67. The Hulk stuff at the start is very kind of bad. It feels like it was a demand of the comic and that they needed to have Hulk gone on a rampage each issue or be hounded by the army every issue. I understand that is a big part of the character, but from a story perspective, they could have cut a lot of corners by having Hulk simply gone with Doctor Strange. Maybe they could have had a plot reason too. Like the scientists, they want David Banner's expert knowledge on gamma radiation for their experiment. But they are stuck with Hulk instead. All this rampaging just seems disconnected from the actual story, which has given us the first appearance of a minor Marvel character called Eve Watson, also known as Quiznos, and about 1 billion other names. She goes on to feature in Kazar significantly, and there is a notable thing about her that we will get to, but for the minute she is in the familiar cocoon that Adam Watson often emerges from. And then after some more rampaging, we get to see why they wanted Doctor Strange, and that is to perform eye concept, laser-aided brain surgery upon their creation so that it will not turn on its makers like Adam Watson did. They have obviously lied to Doctor Strange. They have fed him misinformation about their goals and their intentions. And he was suspicious from the start, but he's gone along with it to discover their true objectives. And thus we have the birthing of Eve Watson. In her original form, she was a man. She had a todger and everything. Next time she appears, she has adopted an entirely female form, and it is my belief that this makes her officially the first trans character at Marvel. I am sure naysayers will point out that this is technically a different species, and so our own binary genders do not apply. But I will boil it down to the very basic here. She was in a male form, and then she decided she preferred to be a woman, and remained a woman ever since. This male form is fucking shit anyway. Terrible design. And where did he get the skirt from? Something I do want to highlight here is that they actually say how she was purposely created to be more powerful than Adam Watson, which is never the case again after this. This line of dialogue is overlooked forever, and she just becomes a distaff lesser Adam Watson. So then the scientists, they order their new servant to kill Doctor Strange as a test of loyalty and to tie up loose ends. I wonder if this is an annual written specifically to sit in a drawer and then run one day as either a Hulk, a Doctor Strange, or a Defenders annual, if the need arose. The Hulk rampaging shit is so fucking tedious. It has almost zero bearing on the main story going on, and it's just there to keep Hulk busy until we can get to the point where Doctor Strange has exhausted his fight with Eve Watson. The bits with Hulk, I am glossing over them. They are very unrelated. It is neat to see Hulk smash stuff and think that the world hates him. That is the core of the character. But when you have an interesting story going on, it feels wrong that it took this long for the supposed title star to get truly involved. So Hulk shows up and he enters the fight, and you will not be surprised how near the end we are and how little Hulk matters, because now Eve Watson does her first transition and she sheds a man in a skirt form to become an even more powerful being. And much like Adam Watson before her, she judges those who made her as weak, flawed, and evil. And so she rebels against them and demolishes their base. The two heroes are able to escape through a very convenient porthole. And then Eve re-enters a cocoon to emerge one day in the future when she has meditated about her purpose. And so she lays dormant in the ocean until she is discovered and reawakened in Marvel 2-for-1-61. This is rough because I like the story, but the story is almost just a rehash and not even a Hulk story. You didn't even get to see Hulk fight Eve Watson much. I think had they gone with my idea of including David Banner, because maybe they are using gamma radiation this time. This would be immediately improved as a Hulk issue, and also allow much more time for Hulk to battle Eve Watson, and to show how Eve Watson is supposedly more powerful than Adam Watson. A very odd story in execution, but there is some worth in there. All the story stuff, Eve Watson, Doctor Strange, those bits were good. So I'll give it 7 thumbs up.